Hi, and welcome to the Happy Artichoke. I'm Rachel, I'm a doctorate prepared nurse, and I'm here today to talk to you about fatigue after getting your thyroid removed. I am so thrilled that so many of my videos have helped so many people, and I'm absolutely honored that people have reached out to me to ask me questions. I've been getting some emails and some messages about fatigue. It's one of the things I get the most. And I thought that the research I was going to be doing for this video to help answer some of these questions about fatigue would be mainly around the effects of anesthesia and how long they are in your body. But the more research I did, the more I realized how many people are suffering from fatigue after having their thyroid removed. I really had no idea how common this was. I'm really lucky that I didn't experience fatigue terribly, except for a few months after surgery, and then I pretty much got back to normal within 6 to 8 months or so. But I wanted to share with you some information that I learned from some studies that I have read. So there was a study done in 2022 with 218 patients, and 61% of them had new fatigue after having their thyroid removed. These were people that either had part of their thyroid removed or all of their thyroid removed. Another study from 2020 had thousands of patients involved, and 88% of them said that they had fatigue after having their thyroid removed. Now, there are some correlating factors that make you more at risk for this. Your age, any history of depression, having thyroid hormone suppression, so like me, I had to take some thyroid medication to suppress my thyroid from growing before I had it removed. You also had radioiodine as a treatment for your thyroid disease. That does put you at risk for having more fatigue after surgery. The other thing that I think is really important to watch for is your calcium levels. So people who had low calcium levels for more than 3 months after having their thyroid removed were much more likely to have fatigue. Chronic fatigue is actually called asthenia. I might be pronouncing that incorrectly. I had never heard about this related to thyroid disease, but it is very prominent in the literature. It is very common for people to have chronic fatigue that really affects their quality of life after having thyroid surgery. So how long does this fatigue last? One of the studies from 2022 showed that 28% of patients had an improvement in their fatigue by 1 year, 52% had an improvement between 1 and 2 years, and then 16% had an improvement after 2 years. So it does get better, but it can take some time. So what are some things we can do about this? We can talk to our doctor and our surgeon before having surgery to tell them that we're concerned about this and ask how they propose to manage this. We can be really proactive in our calcium intake and make sure that we're taking our calcium after having our thyroid removed. I did want to mention, I forgot to say this earlier, that one of the things that puts you more at risk for having fatigue is having total removal of your thyroid. And I had total removal of my thyroid due to Graves' disease in June of 2020. So you're a little bit less at risk for having chronic fatigue if you just had a partial removal of your thyroid, but you are still definitely at risk. Okay, so what can we do about this chronic fatigue once we have it, or if we're starting to feel fatigue, what do we do? Some of this is just going to be related to getting your thyroid levels back to normal. So once your thyroid is removed or part of it is removed, you're titrating your medications, and we're checking our levels every couple weeks or every couple months just to see how our body is adjusting. And that's going to take some time. For me, it took probably about 6 months, and for some people it can take longer than that. And of course, if you're hypothyroid or hyperthyroid, depending on what your levels are, that's going to affect your metabolism, your skin, your fatigue, all of those things. So it will take a little bit of time after your thyroid is removed in order to have your levels stabilized. And the advice I can give you is just to think of it as the beginning of the rest of your life without having thyroid problems, and knowing that it's going to be a little bit of a process and it might take some time for those levels to get normalized, and just being positive that it's going to happen eventually, and this is just a period of adjusting. Like, your whole body is adjusting. It's never not had its thyroid before, so it's just going to take a little bit of time. And I think that attitude will really help. Instead of thinking like, my thyroid is done, now I don't have to deal with this anymore, really just having an attitude of, okay, my body now has to adjust into this new life where I'm going to take this medication and Just know that it's going to take a bit of time to feel normal again. There is some literature out there about hormone therapy in treating chronic fatigue related to thyroid surgery, but there's not a ton of research out there. So I would really just talk with your doctor and think about things that you can do to help self-manage. So some things that you can do to help self-manage fatigue is to have a regular sleep schedule, to eat healthy, to drink water, to exercise, move during the day, and to watch your caffeine intake. So none of this is groundbreaking. It's all stuff that you already know probably, but I think it's good to be reminded of. I need to be reminded of this as well, about having really good sleep hygiene. And that's one of the ways that you can battle chronic fatigue after having your thyroid removed. I hope this was helpful for you. I know it's not a ton of information. Basically, when it comes to fatigue after your thyroid surgery, talking to your doctor about how to manage it is really important. Doing the things to help yourself manage fatigue is really important. And then patience, because it might actually take a couple years for you to feel like you have your whole energy really back. But then, fingers crossed, you have the rest of your life to feel good and to not have thyroid problems. So I wish you a lot of luck. I hope that you're not dealing with too much fatigue. I hope this was helpful for you. I have some other videos out there about what to expect during surgery that have been really helpful for a lot of people. And you can always reach out to me by visiting happyartichoke.com. You can also find me on social media. Sometimes it takes me a bit to respond, but I always read your messages and I love hearing them. And I love seeing how many people have been positively affected by seeing some of my videos. So thank you for watching. And I really hope this helps someone as they are battling fatigue after surgery. And I just want you to know that you're not alone. There are so many people who have experienced fatigue after surgery and it has affected them for a long time. And so don't feel alone and know that it's going to get better after time. The research shows that it will get better. It just takes some time. So good luck to you. Hope this was helpful. Thanks for watching and have a great rest of your day.